morning, everyone. We are absolutely delighted to have you all here by this event organized by Cambihub.
It is truly incredible to see so many bright and curious minds gathered here today. Whether you're exploring career options, deciding on subject choices, or looking for expert guidance, this event is going to be helpful to you.
So, welcome everyone. I am Reese.
And I am Tarashi.
Before we dive into today's insightful sessions, let's begin by telling you a little about Cambihub, the platform that made this event possible.
Cambihub is a student-led educational initiative designed to help IGCSE, AS and A-levels, and IB students navigate their academic journey. From resource sharing, expert guidance, community support, and interactive discussions, Cambihub provides everything a student needs to excel.
What started as a small peer-to-peer learning community has now grown into a global platform where students collaborate, find solutions, and explore their academic and professional futures. Our mission is to bridge the gap between students and high-quality resources, ensuring accessibility and support at every step of the way.
And none of this would have been possible without the vision and dedication of the founders of Cambihub. Let's take a moment to introduce them.
First, we have Ritik Jain, the founder of Cambihub, a passionate education strategist and innovator. Ritik envisioned a collaborative learning space where students could receive expert mentorship beyond traditional schooling. His drive and leadership have shaped Cambihub into what it is today. So let's welcome Ritik Jain to the mic.
Thank you so much, and thank you for coming today. We did not expect to be this successful. Also, thank you, speakers, for coming today, taking your time on Saturday. Hello. Yes. So there's just one more thing for students. We have arranged a kit, so we're providing it right now. And the purpose for the event is a little different than I think what you all have in mind. The bubble I was in 2 months before, right before my boards, was that IIT is the only thing, IIT in engineering. So we want to maybe break that bubble and just give you more choices. That's the purpose of the event. Even if you want to pursue IIT or UPSC, whatever, we'll give you a pathway and let's see where it goes. So hopefully this event helps you to decide the path you take after IGCSE. Thank you.
And alongside him, we have Pranay Arora, the co-founder of Cambihub. A dedicated educator and mentor, Pranay has played a pivotal role in curating high-quality resources, interactive sessions, and building a strong support system for students. His experience in academic coaching has made Cambihub a go-to platform for students worldwide. Let's welcome Pranay Arora.
Hi everyone, I am Pranay, the co-founder of Cambihub. It is truly an honor to stand before you today as the co-founder of Cambihub because this initiative literally started as a simple vision. We decided to open it as a WhatsApp community, but we never expected it to grow this much. And all thanks to you guys for joining our community, supporting us, and promoting Cambihub. And Cambihub was born from a simple yet powerful idea, and I'm really proud to see what Cambihub has become now. So today, as we host this event, I feel with immense pride and gratitude. This is more than just a gathering. It's a testament to the power of collective knowledge and shared ambition. To all teachers, mentors, and students present here today, your presence signifies your commitment to learning and growth. Thank you.
A huge round of applause to both the speakers.
Now, before we proceed further, it is our privilege to invite Dr. Sheila Philippe, the principal of Manor International, to say a few words.
Good morning, everyone. We are extremely proud and happy to have you here with us today this morning. This room hangs with a lot of hopes and aspirations. That's what we can feel and sense right now. And before we set the ball rolling, I have to tell you a little bit about our school. We are Rosebanner International School, a school that's 77 years old, and I stand here on behalf of our Managing Director, Mrs. Mary Rose Nazareth, who has been the wind beneath our wings, and we have a beautiful community of learners and teachers here while they're here to share, grow, care, and evolve. So, as I can see, there are many parents who are known, but we also have teachers, some teachers and some parents here with us wanting to be guides and mentors to their children. We hope that the aspirations and all the deliberations of today lead you to your goal and your subject selection. So a big hand to Pranay and Ritik. God bless your dreams and may you always inspire. To all the resource persons who are here today this morning, I can see that they're so full, they look so knowledgeable, so may there be people who will actually guide you to your goal and your dreams. So here we go. I said we invite you and we're happy to host this event and may it bear rich fruit. God bless.
Thank you so much, Sheila, for inspiring us and supporting this initiative. Now, moving on to the highlight of today's event, our guest speakers. We have some of the best speakers and mentors in the field to provide education and insight to your career choices, subject selection, and higher education pathways.
Each speaker will share their expertise through a presentation, followed by an opportunity to interact and ask questions. So make sure to pay close attention and take notes. Feel free to utilize the delegate kits shared with you, which contain an ID card, which is mandatory for all participants to wear throughout the whole event, along with a notepad and pen to hop on to the paper whenever you feel something is crucial.
To start things off, we have Mr. Siddharth Soni, a Cambridge A-level physics assessment officer and expert mentor for IGCSE and A-level students.
With a decade of experience in curriculum development, student mentorship and assessment expertise, Mr. Siddharth has played an important role in shaping learning resources for global education platforms. He has also won awards such as the Best Mentor Award 2022 and worked as an A-level expert reviewer at Siemens.
So let's put our hands together for him.
Thank you so much. Too much of fancy words. I'm nervous. Okay, so what I would like to speak about is why A-levels and how is it going to help you move ahead in life. First question, how many of your kids are going to be in India after 12th grade? When I say after 12th grade, I mean not even planning to go abroad for masters. Okay, so that's only one. I believe engineering. Engineering? Okay, so like Ritik Pranay clearly mentioned, IIT is not the only pathway. I am not demotivating you all. I personally hate it. I'm so sorry to use this strong word. Unfortunately, at this tender age, it is a lot for the child to go through. There are other pathways as well, and that is what I would be speaking about. Now, why precisely A-levels? Okay, I'll give you the case which happened this year. One of my students who wanted to do his BSc in physics. After 10th grade, he thought a pathway of giving his 11th, 12th HSC, and then he would plan to move abroad to Germany. Okay, so he cleared his HSC, decent scores, but when he applied to the college, two things. One was profile, he was only into academics, and the second thing was a bridge course. The bridge course was costing him a 20 lakh, which was way too much for him. So on further research, the university replied back stating if he completes his A-levels, there is no need for that bridge course. which means A levels gives you a direct entry into a lot of colleges, let it be medical, engineering, or just your bachelor's program. You need to decide after your 10th grade what you want to do, where you want to go, and start writing to universities. Now, what do I mean by writing to universities and why is it very important? See, when I talk about A levels, it has got more than 50 subjects. Okay, but you don't need to go through all the subjects, obviously. You need to pick a minimum of 3 to a 6 or a 7 or 8, depending upon the college or your personal needs. Our recommendation, or rather what I would recommend, is pick up at least one additional subject. Only reason, again coming out of experience, one of a student had applied to a university in London, I believe for her commerce program. Initially on the website, when she was going through the website, it showed only 4 subjects. She completed her A levels with 4 subjects, but later when she started the application process, they had changed the minimum number of subject requirement, which means they made it to 5. And then this girl again had to write her ON exams, making it 5 subjects and then apply. So always, first thing, whilst you are listing down the universities, start writing mails to the universities, they get back. You don't need a person to guide you. Yes, there are people who will charge you a bomb, including me. You have a lot of money, you can give it to me. Okay, but you can actually start doing it by yourself. Start writing up to the universities. Start building up on your profile. Now, what is the next step? I'll talk about it later. But first thing, start writing up to universities. List down the number of subjects. Once you have it in a documented form from the university, that this is the minimum subjects they're looking for, they will have to enroll you in. So that becomes an advantage. This you're going to do at the start of your 11th grade. I know it's way too early, but it's always better. Okay? Why 11th grade I'll also cover as I move ahead. So you can see a list of subjects over here. Apart from this, there are additional subjects which you will find on Google. You can go to the Cambridge website, student portal, you will find it over there as well. But sciences, yes, you have physics, chem, bio, CS, so on and so forth. You have math, you have business economics, basically the commerce subject. You have language. Okay. Advantage again of A levels in medicine. In India, you will have to study physics. But if you're applying to UK, you can actually drop physics. Okay, so again, do your R&D. Me being a physics teacher, I know I'm telling you to drop physics. I'm so sorry about that, but it is one of the most difficult subjects of A levels. Okay, any questions till here? I move ahead. Out of these, you will select around 3 to 5 subjects depending upon the list of universities or the universities you target, but make sure one additional subject.
One additional subject from the same stream that you wish to apply, or it
Could be anything, sir.
It does not matter.
It could be anything. It could be anything. The only thing is, if it's an add-on, it's a benefit. Any hobbies you take, it's a benefit because that helps you develop your profile. Unfortunately, if you are going for IIT, 11, 12, you are going to slog, you are going to study more than me, more than any teacher over here. Okay, your profile building is not happening. You are only into book, which you will not be using further when you are into engineering. I believe all the engineers over here would agree to it. Okay, so yes, it's a phase where you will eventually shine like a diamond, but I hate the process. My only problem with the IIT is the process that a child has to go through, a very young age and a lot of stress, which is what I don't like. So yeah, that's why A levels. How many of you are targeting for IBDP? No one for IBDP? Even that is very good. If you love a subject, IBDP is good, but it comes with its own cons. Okay, so this is the list of countries along with the minimum subjects. Now, why have I written recommended is 4, 3 and so on, because like I told you all, pick one additional subject. Avoid taking ICT or IT in your 11th, 12th because that is something you can pick up at any point of time. Rather go for business. It's a difficult course, but it's better. That is one skill you should learn. Okay, I move further. So it all depends upon the country you are going to visit. The minimum number of subjects. Start applying while you are in your grade 11. July, August, September, start writing a mail to them. You have your list of profile needed to work on, and then you have a year to work on your profile to build a solid profile. Whilst you apply for a university, like I mentioned, the universities are not only going to look at your scores, they are also going to look at what you do beyond academics. And that is why I have been appreciating these two gentlemen over here for setting up this community. Okay, lovely work done. It's very difficult to manage actually more than 1,000 kids. So again, I would like to thank you all for inviting me. It's the other way around, I should be thanking you all. Okay, you all gave me a platform where I could kind of help students. So, good work. I'll move ahead. Okay, now this is why, yes ma'am.
I have a question about A levels and English.
Mm-hmm.
So we have an option to give like English and different
Yes.
exam.
So what I would recommend is, and I believe most of the college also would recommend is, now even over here English is at A2 levels, right? Yes. So you write your English when you're in 12th grade. Reason being, 11th grade matters a lot. So in 11th grade, if you have one less subject, okay, it gives you the bandwidth to invest more time in individual subjects. And if your 11th grade scores are good, even if your 12th grade papers weren't that great, your average score is pretty decent. That is the advantage of A levels. Okay, so English you will be writing in 12th grade. In fact, even for Indian universities, let's assume you don't want to go abroad, you want to keep the India option open. A lot of universities are okay with one 11th grade subject. Which means, let's assume I am, as a child, I am not very good at math. You can sit beta. I'm not very good at math. I have taken physics, chem, math, bio and English. Okay. I have given my 11th grade math. In the 12th grade, I can reappear 11th grade math and that will help me enter into any university. Which means I can take up to 2 AS level subjects. I don't need the A2 level math. So a lot of advantages. Okay, so yes, you have a lot of flexibility with subjects which IBDP will not give you. Apart from that, the grading is way more friendly. You don't have those pointers, the exam duration. This is applicable only if you're targeting for Indian universities because IBDP happens at the later end, which means your Indian universities have already started. And that is where you will be left with no option except to wait for a year and then apply again. Because the results are late. You have less number of subjects. IBDP comes with a clause. You need some minimum amount of subjects in every stream. And yes, less co-curricular activities. When I say less, I don't mean it is negligible. It is going to be slightly tedious. But yes, compared to IBDP, where I believe there are 130 hours, if I'm not wrong, it's quite less at A levels. Okay, I move ahead. The next slide also tells you about the same. Okay, that's it. So, yes, Beta.
Why is it that everybody says that A levels is only good if you want to pursue your studies in abroad?
Like I mentioned, A level has a lot of advantages. I gave you an example of my student who wanted to do bachelor's program, but then the bridge course was 20 lakh. Whilst a lot of parents would also agree the curriculum over here has not changed. Kids, I believe, are still learning 8085. The microprocessor. If I am not wrong, they're still learning 8085, which is not even found with the scrap collectors. So that is why A level is, a boon for students. In fact, even a lot of scholarship. A student of mine, Nelson Mehta, he got a 100% scholarship in the US I would personally recommend US only if you get 100% scholarship or you have a lot of money because of the work visa clause. Okay, there are a lot of other universities across the world. There's Ireland which is coming up, which is very good. Taiwan, apart from the China issue, is very good for engineering. Germany, you need, I believe, a B1. I believe German language B1 skills to enter into any Germany college where the fees is quite less. Yes, you need some amount in the bank which is given to you as pocket money, but Germany is a very good option. Okay, and hence A levels is better. See, I tell you, when I was teaching IGCSE, my first 3 years, I used to hate A levels. I thought what I did is better. Only reason because I love physics in A levels, there's a disadvantage that we will not teach you calculus. Okay, so the essence of physics, somewhere, if you are a physics enthusiast, you will miss on. Whilst the kids who are doing HSC, they are going to have a better in-depth knowledge. However, they will not use it though because it's only cramming, unfortunately. So that is the only disadvantage I feel, and that will come only if you are a physics enthusiast. However, there is a component in your A2 grades called mechanics. That is where you will be dealing with the calculus part. Okay, so mechanics is the only place where you will be having calculus with physics. But again, it is only limited to, I would say, the kinematics of the mechanics part, the electromagnetism and all the other stuffs you will miss on. But yes, the application at A levels is beautiful. That is what you will learn. How do you apply the concept, which I believe is missing at the state board, and hence A levels.
When you were referring to less extracurricular or co-curricular, what do you mean? Can you elaborate?
So I tell you, sir, apart from your results, what would matter is how strong your profile is. So apart from, let's say for example, the 6 subjects, what am I doing either to build up my personality or the society? All these things matter. So whilst you are in your 11th grade is where you're supposed to manage your time properly because you will be studying to get the best scores. Apart from this, you will be studying to either build up your profile by taking a small internship, either in a factory. Okay, it depends upon what you want to do. So you can shadow a doctor, like what we do at, or rather I'll not take my school, but a lot of colleges is, I believe over here also there should be the case in many colleges, the parent body plays a very important role. Let's assume sir is a doctor. I would recommend sir, I would just request sir that if I can shadow him whilst I have my break going on, and then sir giving me a letter of appreciation that I have worked for these number of hours. All these whilst you're framing your statement of purpose, your SOP plays a very vital role. So recommended 1 or 2 internships, 1 or 2 social service work. Start taking part in your society to set up either a Republic Day event or a Friendship Day event, so on and so forth. But the society should give it to you in writing, obviously, or you should have photographs. Apart from this, a reflection, what you have learned, how was the event, what was your role, becomes very important. So they will read the reflections while you are submitting the SOP to them. That's what I meant by co-curricular. Obviously, it will not do 130 or 120 hours like what is recommended in IB.
So would, say for example, playing a sport professionally alongside also actually?
Yes. If you have got a certificate, then yes. Yes, sir?
Testimonials and LinkedIn profile, how important are those?
I am so sorry, I have not worked till now based on the LinkedIn profile. But I would surely discuss it with my mentor and I would get back to you. So I would pass on the message to Ritik. Will that work? I am so sorry.
What's the minimum number of hours that we need in the 8?
It is dependent upon how smart you are. As per Cambridge, they recommend 120 or 130 hours of AS, 130 hours of A2, but that is only for teachers. Yes, you would have to invest 1.5 hours in one of the sciences, 1.5 to 2 hours in math every day. This is studying. Okay, one misconception I would want to clear: A levels is only paper solving or IGCSE is only paper solving. It's not just paper solving. Initial months build up your content, your foundation. Once your content or your foundation is strong, it's very easy for you to pen it down. It's just a matter of 10 or 12 papers. That's it. So yes, you will have to be very good at content. So the disadvantage would be obviously the coursework. Whilst a normal child is given AS, A2 in 2 separate years, giving it together means a lot of additional efforts. But then the advantage would be that the thresholds for such kids who are writing linear is completely different. It's slightly lower. In many colleges, if the kids want to go for rank improvement, either they write the open exams again or they give it linear. But my recommendation, avoid giving it linear. I feel it's slightly, energy draining and it takes on a lot of time. Okay. So if there are no, yes sir.
I just wanted to check, does it make sense to, after doing A-level standard, does it make sense to do HSC after that? Like if a student is pursuing accounts or fond of accounts or something like that, the common stream we have all 3 types of accounts, etc. Does it make sense? Because I believe A-level is at a certain standard where HSC is slightly lower than that.
Yes.
So you're going to be dropping yourself down to a certain level.
Not really dropping, sir. So the 11th, 12th HSE is slightly lower, but if you look at the university level, that's where the A-level kids have a big advantage.
Okay.
That is where they have a very big advantage. So for them, the coursework is very easy.
Would you recommend it? That can be an
Yes,
option as
we
well?
still would.
Yeah.
I recommend it. Yes, ma'am.
There was also a sub-question to that question. There was a sub-question which said, what if we are a private, we give the exams as a private candidate? So that would be a disadvantage when you're considering being here in India. Because this I'm talking about actually speaking 10th standard.
Okay.
When you are in the 10th and if you do it as a private candidate, then you will not get equivalence, you will not get admitted into any of the universities or the autonomous universities and colleges in India. That is at grade 10, being in the private category. It's been there. Yeah. So this is something that parents have to be very, very cautious and careful about. Thank you.
Okay, so if there are no more questions, I would then like to call upon the next speaker. Sure. Thank you. Sorry I was nosy.
Thank you, Siddharth sir. That was truly engaging. Our next speaker is Mr. Mayur Shah and Mr. Anuj Jain. Mr. Mayur Shah is the founder of Concept Academy, a premier coaching institute specializing in IGCSE, A-levels and IB education. With expertise in mathematics, economics and business studies, Mr. Mayur is known for his structured and result-driven approach. He firmly believes that discipline beats talent and emphasizes the importance of consistent efforts in academic success.
Anuj Jain is a highly qualified person with 3 master's degrees in telecommunications, business administration, and psychology. He is also the founder of EduGroomers, Mumbai's leading unbiased career counseling service and guidance center. He is also known for his work in radiation audits and precautionary measures. With extensive experience in his Fortune 500 companies, he has expertise in project management, telecommunications, and career mentorship.
Please give a big round of applause as we welcome Mr. Mayur Shah and Mr. Anuj Jain to the stage.
Hi, very good morning, dear parents and dear students. So, as we had Sir with us, who was actually helping us understand the benefits of A-levels, what I usually see when I have been teaching all the students around, what I usually see is that the discipline is somewhere what the students lack. Okay, so we somewhere feel that yes, if a child is talented, he will definitely be able to get the best of the marks in his exams, but somewhere discipline is a must. So along with the rigorous practice, the studies, what the efforts the students are taking up, discipline is very, very important for them. So eventually, your discipline is definitely going to beat your talent. Even if the child is talented and he is not giving enough of time for paper solving or his studies or whatever he has to do throughout the day, maybe the planning of the studies, what he has to take up during the course period, still the talent won't be able to help him that much as much the discipline is actually going to help him out. So with the discipline, they need to solve the past papers. We see a lot of students just solving the past papers, not having a dedicated time frame, just solving the papers, not having it formed in a proper structured manner, and at the end, during the exams, they are just lost, they don't know what mistakes they had done when they were solving those papers. So that actually doesn't help them out to come out of it, to understand exactly understand what they have missed out during the course period when they were doing their studies. So somewhere discipline is very much required as more as compared to your talent. So yes, if you have two choices with you, the pain of regret and the pain of discipline, that is what we see over the period. So definitely the pain of discipline is much better because eventually if there is no discipline, you will be only left with the pain of regret. So discipline will definitely lead to a lot of good habits, habits leading to consistency, and eventually consistency leading to growth in your life. So the key success, why discipline is more important for you all is number one, consistency will eventually lead to more intelligence in you. It will help you make better habits whenever you are doing your studies. Maybe it is IGCSE, A levels, IBDP, HSC, whatever you are appearing for, you definitely need discipline into it. And eventually, in the long run, if you see the opportunity cost, we eventually see everything in the matter of long run. Short run, everything is variable, but however, in the long run, everything, in the short run, a few of the elements are fixed. However, in the long run, everything gets variable for you. Okay, how do you build your discipline? Now, first thing comes, you need to set your goals. If your goals are very much clear that maybe by in the 6 months I want to complete my syllabus, maybe after that 3 months rigorous paper solving is what I want to do, definitely that is actually going to help you in understanding your goals and meet your goals eventually. Yes, you need to make study plans. Now when I say study plans, it doesn't necessarily mean a yearly study plan or something. It might be broken up even into a few days or a particular day. In a day I need to complete at least writing one paper 2, one paper 4 or maybe a particular subject. That is how you need to take it ahead. So your study plan needs to be broken up every day to day. You cannot just make a study plan and not stick to it, eventually which will not be helping you out. You need to take small daily actions every day. You need to be accountable for whatever steps you are taking up, and you need to analyze whether how well you were at actually taking everything in a holistic approach together into your studies. So, two options with your IGCSE. After your IGCSE, you have two options, A levels and IBDP. Definitely, A levels is one of the very good choices. It will be helping you, as sir said, we have 3 to 5 subjects to select from. So, out of that, once your A levels is done, so Cambridge will actually help you to apply for most of the universities abroad. However, when you are applying for the universities, you only need to be very clear what are their requirements. If the university actually requires you to be a part of IBDP and if you are really keen on applying to that particular university, you need to study completely for the IBDP itself. However, if most of the universities, I am going to say abroad, are accepting both A levels as well as IBDP, but a very few of them, maybe the Ivy Leagues or some of them, are only expecting you to be cleared with your IBDP itself. So, as we had international A levels, okay, so you have your international A levels where you will be specializing in at least 3 to 4 subjects, maybe you can take one extra. It is, yes, more of exam-based assessment. Okay, it is majorly very much better for students who are having a clear vision, clear goal, as in yes, we are sure that we want to go into this particular stream. So it becomes very much clear that those students should go for A levels as their option. However, it is definitely recognized by worldwide all the universities. The next what we have is IBDP or an option of IBCP, diploma program or a career program. Originally, we used to have only IBDP as one of the options. Recently, we have also been come across with IBCP as one of the options. What is the difference if you ask me? IBDB provides you 3 HL, 3 SL subjects, as you might be aware about it. However, IBCP is a career-related program wherein projects are also involved. Submission of projects, timely projects are to be submitted during the phase of your IBCP 2 years of rigorous practice. So your hard work is not only in the way of academics, but along with your academics, it is bifurcated even into project submissions during the phase of your studies of the next 2 years. So yes, IBDP you need to have theory of knowledge, extended essays which you need to submit to the universities. Along with that, CAS, creativity, activity and service, wherein you need to provide some service which we had as extracurricular activity. We need to provide some services to the society, which will maybe some NGOs, working with some NGOs, which will actually help us give some certification that yes, we have done something towards the society, which will really help you have that extra bonus points. Again, IBDP is much preferred by globally most of the universities, and if you are majorly applying for the Ivy Leagues, then definitely IBDP would be a better option. I would not say as compared to anything else, but yes, A levels in IBDP, most of the Ivy League universities again accept IBDP as one of the options, but then you again need to be very clear which universities you wish to apply for, and if they are okay with the A levels, then I would also recommend definitely you should go for A levels. Okay. How do you decide over it whether you wish to go for IBDP or IB or A levels? If I ask you that question, then if you are very much clear about your subjects of expertise, A levels is the best option for you. You need not give it a second thought. However, IBDP is a complete holistic approach which will give you a much more in-depth approach, because here you will be selecting at least 6 subjects, of which 3 would be HL and 3 of them would be your SL subjects. Along with that, depending upon the university requirements, you need to be very much clear. Okay, most important part, I am very much sure you might be doing a lot of in-depth analysis of whatever career opportunities you want to decide about it. The most important point is your goal. If your goal is very much clear, please stick to your goals. Just because plan A didn't work, not going to plan B and just changing your goal because my plan didn't work will not help you in the long run. You need to stick to your goal. Goal is one. Plans might be many. So you always need to have a plan A or a plan B, but your goal is only A. You cannot have multiple goals. You need to have one goal very much fixed in your mind. You need to stick to it and you can just keep on moving ahead for that particular goal. So, maybe if you have some doubts, what we can do is, I'll have Mr. Anuj Jain over here helping you for the career counseling questions, and maybe after once all of us are done, as we are running out of time, I'll just hand over to Anuj Jain, let us speak over it, and in the end, we can just have a few doubt solving, whatever questions are required. Along with that, I would just require one thing for all the students. When you are practicing throughout the phase of your IGCSE A levels and IBDP, see to it that you are solving topic-wise past paper questions during the period of time. Just don't stick to the textbook questions, because that is only a resource material which is being provided by Cambridge. It is not a sure-shot material. That is only to understand what is the syllabus to be covered by you. You need to try to solve as many topical past paper questions which will actually help you understand the concept and the chapter in a very in-depth manner. So try, solve as much as you can for A levels, IBDP, a lot of resources are available, but you need to get into it and go step by step with all the goals being very clear for you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, so my name is Anuj Jain. I'm a career counselor. I've studied science, commerce, and arts. Yes, I did my first master's in sciences, in engineering. Why? Because being the topper 25 years ago, क्या करते थे? Science करते थे, right? So I took up science. Being a Jain, at that time, in bio we used to dissect a frog. So live frog was brought in and you had to kill the frog. So that was not allowed. So just went with the flow, took up engineering. Yes. took up telecom engineering because that was the new course introduced. Right? So everything was going well. So how many of us are in the 10th standard right now? 10th standard, you've given your exams, right? Right? Alright, and how many of us have studied IGCSE over here? Alright, anyone from ICSE? A couple are from ICSE. And CBSE? A few from ICSE, no one from CBSE. And SSE? One from SSE. Alright. So many times our choices go with our marks. Yes. We don't think about what career we want to get into. Many times we just go with the flow. We'll see depending on your marks. Right? I used to get full marks in Marathi. I can't speak Marathi even today. Yeah. So marks don't really define what career you should get into. Right? I've had parents who have gone with certain choices just because their children got good marks. Now, if you have good teachers, if you have the right discipline, will you not get marks? You will get marks. And now you say that, oh, now that my child has got marks, has surprised me with getting good marks, then we should aim higher than where our child should go. And not necessarily that that's a good choice. Right? And that's where it's very important to cut out from all the labyrinth of everything that you hear from people all around you. Yes, you'll get a lot of people. It's just like a stock market. When you watch a CNBC channel, yes, anyone if you know CNBC channel, and an analyst says buy this stock, you don't know whether to buy it or actually sell it. It's very similar when it comes to careers. A lot of careers are advertised, but many careers are not advertised. So does that mean that those careers are not good for you? In this world of AI, ChatGPT, yes, a lot of us are using ChatGPT already in amazing ways, yes. And can you imagine, can you stay away from ChatGPT in the future? No. So can you make it a friend? Even if you're doing psychology, even if you're doing history, and the answer would be yes, that would be a good choice. So what's important really is to know yourself. So what's important when it comes to career guidance is not to worry about what others are saying, but being authentic. Being who you are. Don't be someone else. Find your individuality. Yes? And you will find that in today's day and age, excellence matters over average response. Yes? Have anyone ever thought that, if I am not feeling well, let's go to an average doctor? Today I'm feeling less hungry, so let's go to an average restaurant. Our choices are never average. And if our choices are never average, we also cannot be average. Right? We need to be excellent. So what's important really is to add a purpose to your studies. If you don't add a purpose to your studies, there's absolutely no meaning to your studies. Many of us study for our parents. Many of us study because we have to study. Yes? Why are you studying in a school? Do you know? Can you give me one good answer? Why are we studying in a school? Parents are saying yes.
To obtain knowledge and also learn about social skills.
To obtain knowledge and get global skills. Social skills, alright. So socializing definitely. So that definitely adds on. But knowledge, don't you think that ChatGPT can give you better knowledge?
Yes,
Critical thinking, ChatGPT can give you even more critical thinking.
discipline.
Sorry, discipline. Oh, that's just within you. What else?
The human touch.
Sorry, the human touch. Yes, definitely. Have you ever spoken to ChatGPT? I can show you a demonstration, and he will be your best friend. He will never get angry at you. Can you? More structured in the school? More structured in the school? It depends on ChatGPT also. If you ask for a structure, it will give you a structured approach.
build resilience because you have to fail and then you have to learn how to fail. ChatGPT.
So you're saying the school will fail you.
No.
So you get the resilience.
No, ChatGPT won't fail.
ChatGPT won't fail. So it's not a good friend. Alright, yes.
Human feedback.
Human feedback. It can be erroneous, it can be biased. Right? You want unbiased.
Wanting to learn with other people around you.
Yes, that's the social skills. That's the social skills, definitely. Yes.
Homeschooling is very important. Knowledge can be taught even in the house.
Yes.
But certain skills, life skills have to be learned by moving in society. Upon your social elements.
Yes.
So you have to move in society. So you have to get an educational institute or a club or an association.
Yes.
That is the main mistake. Then children are self-employed.
Perfect. So if that's the case, then why restrict ourselves only to studies? Then why not get into projects? What Sir mentioned was, it's all about society building. And society building happens with projects. So what the two gentlemen, Siddharth and Mayur, mentioned earlier about projects and profile building, were talking about impact. What is the impact that you leave behind? Yes. So once you have a purpose, definitely studies become more meaningful. You're not doing any, doing any favor to your parents by studying. Yes. Your parents, in fact, are your credit cards. At some point, they will reach the limit. Oh, already overdrawn. You show your performance and you get more enhanced, limits.
You have to play for new credit cards. For the higher.
And that's where, friends, our schools help us to prepare for colleges. Because that's your next goal. And why do we go to colleges? Because they help you in turn to prepare for work. So something that doesn't work in the working environment will definitely not work in the school environment. Right? And thereby, when you come to a school, you come early in the morning hours. If you come at 7 o'clock to school, can you reach an office at 8 o'clock? Yes, you can reach an office at 8 o'clock. Right? If you can sit in school for 6 to 7 hours, can you be in an office for 8 to 10 hours? Yes, you can do that. So it's preparing you for that. ChatGPT can't prepare you for that. Right? That's where a structured learning approach in a school comes in very handy. Alright, so you can just okay, self-reflection. Think about these questions. Yes, we won't go too much into it. What subjects do you like? What do you find it easy? What is convenient? What is the trend? What is your friend's choice? What is your teacher's choice? Yes? And reflect what works for me. Okay? To know what works for you, you should know what are your strengths. Something that has changed drastically in the past few years, parents, you will admit to this now. 25 years ago, when you were a student, your parents used to tell you to work on your weaknesses. तुम्हारी ये प्रॉब्लम है, इसके ऊपर काम करो. You are a lefty, right from the right hand. You're not writing fast enough. Or many weaknesses were worked on. But today, everyone, all the teachers, counselors, will talk about your strengths. You have to focus more on your strengths. If you're already a 7 in something, you're good in sport, take it to that 10. Go the best in that. Right? Because today is the day where you focus more on your strengths. So based on what you understand about yourself, pick up on the subject. Don't just go with influence. 10 people, everyone good intention, but will give you 10 different directions. Yes? Only if you know yourself can you make the right choice. You'll have to help me. Alright, so this is very small for you, but just very interestingly, a concept that we use in our counseling practice. Just to understand your backup choices. What can I choose if everything fails for me? I'm studying in IGCSE, I'm studying in A-levels, IB, good school, everything. My parents have put in so much efforts, I have put in so much effort, but I somehow am not enjoying it. Yes. There are 3 buckets that you can think about. The first bucket, physical attributes. What are my physical attributes that I'm very good at? Those physical attributes can make you an actor, can make you a dancer, can make you a singer, can get you into sports, many physical attributes. The second one, the second bucket, emotional and social attributes. I'm very sensitive, so I have a good ear. I can hear people well. Yes? So I am aware of what's going on in people's lives. When I am hearing them, I'm giving them some kind of advice that works for them. Maybe I'm very good as a teacher in the class. Maybe I'm very good with pets. Maybe I'm very good with seniors. Maybe I'm very good with makeup. Yes, I understand what people feel. Maybe I'm very good with clothes because today fashion is all about emotions, right? I'm good from emotion to social. I can work with a team of people. I can get into events. I can work with teams. I can lead people ahead. A lot of careers in the second bucket from that. And the third one is intellectual, definitely. So all the advertisements when it comes to engineering, AI, law, CA, all intellectual careers. Yes. Even if you're not in the third bucket, you can still be in the first 2 buckets. Yes. If you look at most of the successful people, you will find them in at least 1 bucket, if not 2 buckets. Yeah. And this becomes your way of identifying your backup choice. Yes. Very easy to do that. So you'll find someone, maybe parents will figure out that, in your circle, someone who was very good in art and craft in childhood, loved it. Parents say engineer bana diya, aage jaake now they're into gifting world or they're into some craft world. Why? Because their emotional social was the strongest bucket. Right? That's how we pick up our backup choices. So that's, at least we know that we don't have to feel depressed if nothing works. We have some bucket that works for us. Next one, please.
So what is the third category?
Intellectual. Those are all the advertised careers. Alright, now to understand about interests. Now that we understand somewhere where we have an interest. Suppose we are interested in acting. Anyone interested in acting? 1 actor? Anyone? 2 actors? And suppose parents say, no acting. Huh? No acting. One is that we can go all the way to become a great actor. The second thing is we can get into research in the field of acting. Research, teaching. But the third thing, which no one tells us, is that if that interest cannot materialize as a career, it can become an industry. Okay, so for example, you become an accountant for an actor. You become a lawyer for an acting company, right? And you're still connected to that industry, right? And that becomes your third way of still pursuing your interest, but not in that vocation. So your function is different, but your industry still remains the same. Alright? Next one, please. So your childhood aspirations, parents, the children that are sitting with you, and what you are thinking of your child, perhaps there may be 2-3 years gap, and you may think that your child said, I want to be a doctor, now she says, no, I don't want to be a doctor. He said that he wants to get into sports, today he says, no, I want to get into robotics.
Actually, I'm going to do my medical, but I'm interested in psychology. Now, as you said, you can be connected to what, you had given an example. So how can I be connected to psychology while I'm doing medical? I'm not.
I hope you've never been to a hospital. But if you have, you find some doctors who are just treating that body and that disease. Right? And they'll just say, everything looks okay, so just dismiss her. And they don't even talk to you. And then there are some doctors who would say, how are you, darling? How are you doing today? Your reports look fantastic. I think you're on a recovery path. Right? And that's where your love of psychology actually helps the patient much more than your diagnosis. Right? Now, for for medical students, you can always do a master's in psychology even without doing bachelor's. And that can be done distance learning. Yeah? Master's in psychology without a bachelor's by distance learning. So that's possible. After NEET, give your MBBS. After MBBS, then while you are either waiting for your next exam results or going through your work before your MS or MD, you can do your ME. Or you can do your MA alongside with your MS or MD. Yeah. Higher education options, parents. We think about study in India or study abroad. But did you know you can study, there are two more options. You can study partly in India and partly abroad. These are known as twinning programs. 2 years here or 1.5 year here, 2 years abroad. You can do this in a physical format. That means you can do this at an institute in India and then go abroad to another institute. Or you can do those 2 years online at home, ghar pe padho, and then you go abroad. Otherwise, you can have the entire studies of abroad study in India. Yes? So you have the London University course at Podar World College, all 3 years in India. Yes?
So if you do decide to do AS and A-levels and then further continue universities in India, so if you want to go to do PhDs and masters abroad, then are there two connected courses?
Yeah, everything is connected. So there's no problem about you studying A-levels or HSC or IB to your master's or a PhD. It depends on why you want to do a PhD. And what you've done for your 12th. So subjects should connect with your bachelor's. Your bachelor's should connect with your master's. And then you choose your PhD topics. So I have been given a timer notice. I have many slides on them. So maybe I'll stop after a few more slides, but yes. It's okay. It's okay, Ritik. How much time can I get more? 15 minutes. Ah, nice. So, parents, some of us go with a maximalist approach, some of us go with a minimalist approach. What does that mean? Some parents get into micromanaging. You have to do this and this and this and that, and there's a checklist. Because I have done all my research. You don't need to use your mind, but you need to go all these places. And then you'll find the reverse. You'll find some parents who will say, it doesn't matter. You know, you do whatever you want to do, bacha. Then we'll see later on. Right? In both the cases, parents, you'll find your child either saying, my parent expects too much from me, or the second one, my parent does not expect anything from me. And both the things become a problem. I've had students who told me, why did you get, when I asked them, do you think your 85% justifies your caliber? And the child says, well, I could have got 95%, but no one expected a 95 from me. So why did I have to push myself? And on the other side, I had students who said, oh, I got 93, but yet my mom is not happy because I didn't get the 95. Happens with me all the time. I tell my daughter that, hey, you do your best as a career counselor, but you need to get, at least be in the above average. If you look at the bell curve, you should at least be one variation above. And my wife says, hey, I need a 95%. For me, that is good. Right? So now, that can be a double whammy for a student if your mom and dad play this game. Right? One says it's okay, other person says no, you need to get these marks. But what's important is to achieve your potential. When you get your marks or your 90%, what are you actually trying to talk about? Why in India we talk about to 90 le bas, that's it. Tera life aage successful hai. Has anyone heard for your 10th exams? Yes? Why do parents say this? They've also heard in their childhood. What do you think?
Influenced by the society.
Influenced by the society? मेरी बेटी 90 लेके आई है देखो लड्डू खाओ. What else? Imagine the first time that you did swimming. If you've done swimming once, can you do it again? Yes. If you've done cycling once, can you do it again? Yes. If you got 90% once, can you do it again? Yes. And that's the reason why in the first board exam in India, we emphasize on your marks. Because in your mind, you should never think that you can't get marks. You want to get it, you don't want to get it, that's your choice. But you have the potential to get your marks. Right? That's what it is. Next one. Now, when it comes to decision making, why people come to counselors? Decision making is a factor of knowledge versus time. You need to spend a lot of time to understand what careers are appropriate for you, what works for you. If you don't spend enough time and if you wake up at the last moment in the 12th standard, now I've got these predicted scores, what should I do? Not enough. Then you'll just pick up a college or a career that just comes in your way. But when Siddharth and Mayur spoke about profile building, that actually starts much before, that you are here. From the 8th grade onwards, we say that you need to start investing your time in doing a lot of activities. Most of the universities, if you tell them that you have done some social work in the 11th standard, and oh by the way, I did this project in the 12th standard, they know it's all fake. They know perhaps you were never interested in that field. Right? So all the IBs and all the top colleges, they're looking for at least the past 4 to 5 years history. They're not looking for the 11th and 12th. Anyways, you don't get much of your 12th application. Because by mid of 12th, your applications have already gone. So you need to wake up. It's a wake up call for you to start taking decisions from now itself. While we spoke about A levels, IBDP, one of the most interesting reasons why people choose IBDP is because they want to keep their options open. They can choose subjects and keep their options open. While with A levels, you need to be very sure of what you are getting. In fact, it is because of A levels that IB has come up with CP program. 750 hours of one subject. IB CP becomes 4 subjects. 3 plus 1 750 hours of your another subject. So although it involves a lot of projects, 750 hours, a lot of work. Next one, please. So it's okay to seek help. You will need help after your 8th for subject selection, after your 10th again for subject choices, after your 12th for bachelor's, after your bachelor's, for your master's, a lot of times. So it's a process. Career counseling no longer is going after 10th and that's it. It's a process that you keep revisiting after 2-3 years. Did you know that there is a program in India where you can enroll in this program for 4 years, business program, and it will send you to 7 different countries every 6 months. Did you know there are programs where you can be 1 year in the US, 1 year in Hong Kong, 1 year in Italy, and then you can choose whichever country you like, East, West or Central Europe, which country you want to go and work for your 4th year. Imagine the kind of combinations that are available today. Not just the conventional courses. Of course, conventional courses are also there, but many other choices that are. Next one. So, many tools are there. Increase your career awareness, such sessions plus many other sessions. I have a lot of slides on science, commerce, art, but I'll stop over here in paucity of time. Can we see the next slide? What's there? Yeah, maybe this will be my last slide. STEM versus TEAM. A lot of emphasis has been put in by US for STEM careers. So we talk about science, technology, engineering, math. Yes. But with ChatGPT, with AI, the focus on arts, design, media, communication, human skills have only increased. If you hear Bill Gates, if you hear some of the top leaders today, they talk about human skills more than programming. Right? So in today's day and age, one of the skills that perhaps we may have difficulty is writing a letter with hand. Writing a personalized letter with hand. So much so that even for sending a message today we are using ChatGPT. Just write a letter. For taking an absence. Yes, I'm done. Alright, so what's the next one? Yeah, okay. So thank you for your time. We will talk more about different careers, but definitely now you know that career choices or career counseling, career guidance is quite detailed. It's not just picking up a subject that comes your way, not because you are very good in that subject, but there should be a purpose to why you're studying. Thank you. Thank you very much. So during the break, if you'd like to talk, okay? Thank you.
That was an insightful session. Thank you, Mayur sir and Anand sir. Before we continue, let's take a short break to refresh ourselves, grab some snacks and interact with our speakers and fellow attendees.
We resume in 10 minutes, so don't go too far.
Our next speaker for today is Mr. Hitesh Makhija, a seasoned educator with expertise in mathematics, business and science across multiple curricula, including Cambridge, CBSE and ICSE.
With a background in electronic engineering and finance, he integrates real-world applications into teaching, helping students excel academically and professionally.
Please welcome Mr. Hitesh Makhija on the stage.
Hello. So, good afternoon, parents, teachers, and all students. So, Siddharth and Mayur represented Team Rest of World, where I am representing Team India. So, they were advocating about A levels and IBDPs, which obviously is the most natural progression for all IGCSE students. But that's not the, like everyone said, like Siddharth said, IIT is not the only thing. Similarly, A levels and IBDP is not the only thing. When we were young, I don't think there was IGCSE, and we are still here. So we all have been professionals, excelling in our life, being entrepreneurs and everything. So Indian education, although is not competing, it's not still there in level with A levels and IGC and IBDP, but Indian education has still reached far places. So one common myth which I have understood with parents is why I'm using the word myth, because for some reason like IGCSE is like a Goras in India. They feel that the Indian education is under us. It's a feeling which is developed. Why? Because in general IGCSE and A levels, the fees, everything is much higher than the Indian education. So the families are all affluent and affording, not comparable to a normal HSC student who are not as affluent as the families of IGCSE. So there is some stigma that the parents feel that I cannot, after IGCSE I am going a level down. It's like I am staying in a 5-star hotel always, and I'm going to a 3-star hotel and staying. Why should I do that? So that stigma is what I want to just remove from everyone's mind. So one other thing which parents also feel, like in Indian options, because I have been taking to students from all the 3 verticals, HSC. So HSC is the continuation of the Maharashtra zone. After SSC, the next thing is called HSC. After ICSE, which is your standard 10th, the next level is called ISC. After CBSE 10th, the next level is CBSE 11, 10, 12. Although CBSE is quite famous around India, but not famous in Mumbai much. You have a handful of schools in suburbs and maybe in Mumbai which offer CBSE courses. So primarily, most of the colleges available where ample students are taking admissions today are HSC colleges, with few of them also offering ISC and CBSE courses. So, one important decision what parents decide, the ISC and CBSE are 2 courses which are governed by the same school who is giving you 10th. So, by the time you are done with your prelim exams, you have already secured your admission in the 11th college. So, you don't have to wait for the anxiety of your board results to decide whether you can get admission in 11th or 12th in the college of your choice. Second thing, in ICSE and CBSE, it's a school. So you still feel that you have control on your students, on your children. When I say it's school, means it's mandated, uniform. You have a defined time to enter the school. You have a defined time to leave the school. But when you go to HSC, like how we all went to HSC school, colleges, it might be Sydenham, Xavier, HR, Jai Hind, NM. There is no stigma of entering a college. You are wearing your own clothing. There's no school uniform. You enter at any time. You can attend lectures of your choice. Don't attend lectures of your choice. So the parents feel that they are losing control and they are, it's something like that. But if CBSE and ISC is there, you still have a control on your children. It is still a school, so I am, they are well within my control to see how they go about. So, talking about migration from IGCSE to your Indian boards, which is 3 options: CBSE, ISC, and HSC. So all the students here, mostly all of them are IGCSE students. So one biggest advantage of IGCSE, as all the mentors explained, that the concept building and application is very well explained in IGCSE. Like for example, because I am tutoring students across all verticals, I know the difference how the examinations are held. Like for example, in an IGCSE maths question paper, you'll have one question which will involve your knowledge about a speed of a plane. It tells you that it's going from London to India. It also tests you on the time difference. The currency question might come in, the speed. But in other Indian examinations, this knowledge is not spread across chapters. If they want to ask you about a question on a particular topic, it's only on that particular topic. It doesn't extend across topics. So very important question they ask me, sir, ये ट्रिगो पढ़ के मैं क्या करूँगा लाइफ में? ये topic, because Indian education teaches you this and stops. It doesn't go deeper in it much compared to IGCSE. So advantage of students who are currently already doing IGCSE, they have a very good advantage because their application knowledge is already developed, because they have a holistic approach of things. They can compare different applications of different subjects together. Even a subject like biology in IGCSE, which is so boring as a subject, still IGCSE makes it completely application based. Whereas in your normal ICSE or CBSE, it's a lot of memorizing things, which doesn't happen much in IGCSE. So just to give you a snapshot of what are the different options for students who don't want to travel abroad and want to continue their progress in their careers in an Indian education. So ICSE, CBSE and HSE. So in terms of total number of available universities and colleges, maximum option what you would have now is HSE, right? So for HSE, the method is after you give your 10th, there's an online application. Even Indian have an online, so it's a good thing. So there's an online application where you enter your details, you enter your marks, and you select your colleges of your best choice, top 3 colleges, and as per filtering process, you get the admission in your colleges. So, okay, which is easier to score? Okay, subjects to choose. Okay, so the flexibility, what IGCSE helps you, there are 2 flexibilities that IGCSE helps you. Like for example, I can break my timing of giving my exams. Exams in IGCSE are held thrice a year, Feb, March, November, May, June, October, November. It doesn't happen in Indian education. It happens only once a year, Feb, March. So you can spread your priorities. Like for example, many of the students feel that they don't want to be pressured but giving all the subjects at one time. So IGCSE you can give, let's say maybe English and business, you feel it more comfortable, you can give it in Feb, March, and the other subjects you can give it in May, June or October, November. This flexibility is not provided by Indian education. So you need to get that into your system that you are like a horse, you have to just follow what the educationer tells you. But the only option you have is one duration. Second option which IGCSE flexibility provides you is the choice of subjects. Like I think the other mentors explained, there are 50 subjects to choose from. Here there are 5 subjects to choose. Not choose, take 5 subjects. There is no choose from. So you have to, either it is science, then you have to take 5-6 subjects, or it's commerce, take these 5-6 subjects. You can't say, I like accounts and I like chemistry. Then you do accounts and chemistry you do at home. You can't do chemistry and accounts in an Indian education college. So that flexibility can only be provided by an IGCSE and an A-level education. So flexibility in terms of timing of exams, flexibility in terms of subjects, I would still go for team rest of world. But otherwise, the other options available are pretty much advantageous. So coming to yeah.
What I just quickly add on, I think CBSE now started with this 2 options of either taking exams in Feb, March, or you can take few in Feb, March and few in the.
Yeah, I think they are coming up with something.
That's there.
But till this course which just went by.
2028 is going to be the first batch. I think is going to be using
Right,
this facility. From there on, we're carrying it forward. So
Yeah.
that's a bit that they have actually done according to the.
Correct.
So even the NAP now will offer you a wide range of subjects.
Correct.
Like IGCSE.
Right. So they are moving forward, aligning themselves to the because in the end, like we always hear about India growth story, India shining. So they have to align themselves to the global world. They have to match what they are offering. So in terms of to talk about advantages of students who migrate from IGCSE to one of the Indian curriculum is that their application based knowledge is much better, but then the biggest risk they carry is the calculator. which is a thing which is there in everyone's mind. How will I perform without the calci? Like many of my students, the brain itself, like if it is 3 plus 5, they know it's 8, but the hand directly goes on the calci to do 3 plus 5. So that mindset needs to be changed. So for that, obviously now IGCSE has converted that, they have solved that problem. It's been, I think, second year now. One exam is gone, right? Yeah, so now the next batch, so 100 marks is the non-calci and done. So that's a big problem with students now, so they are adjusting to it. But I think 2-3 years down the line, it would be much better. I always feel that, calci should be just a support system, never should be the primary brain. Yeah, in terms of fees also, like it all goes in line, An IGCSE textbook costs around 2,500. आपका पूरा फीस textbook सब हो जाएगा 2,500 में. If you go in HSC.
Not 2,000.
1,000. Okay.
1,000 all the books and the fees, yearly fees.
Yeah. So it's for people. Not every hard-working student is born in a wealthy family. So if you are you have to have opportunities other than the expensive courses available. So HSC, ISC, CBSE gives you those options. And personally speaking, for all your competitive exams in Bombay, like after 12, if you want to get into, like nowadays after 12, they have also introduced CET exams. Like when we were there, I think I have done my engineering. I was the lucky batch that there was no entrance for engineering. My batch was the last batch, did not have an entrance exam. Just because of my 12th results, I got my admission in my preferred college. Next year, there was a entrance exam for engineering as well. As of now, every examination requires, even a commerce exam, a commerce admission requires an entrance exam. So all these entrance exams are more aligned to the Indian way of teaching for 9th and 10th. And among all of them, CBSE is the most aligned for your IITs, for your JEEs. Most of my CBSE students have already started doing integrated schools for preparing themselves for your NEET and IITs. Even colleges in I think the most common school which provides CBSE in the suburbs is Podar. Podar has already affiliated with I think Allen's or Times and integrated them in the school premises only. So after the school hours, few hours of integrated studies happens so that students can prepare for IITs and JEE within the school premises. So that advantage is already provided by the CBSE schools. Cost of school, cost of fees, cost of books, all are okay. So cost of school is proportional, like how you all be aware, like if you go to a 5-star, you have to pay 18% GST if you eat at a restaurant of a 5-star. Same restaurant, if it's not in a 5-star, the GST is 5%. So it's something similar. The school fees connects to the tuition fees. The tuition fee is connected to the books and everything. And ICSE fees are comparatively much lesser. CBSE also are much lesser to your IGCSE A levels. When I talk about fees, it's everything. School fees, tuition fees, entertainment fees, birthday parties for friends are happening in 5 stars and all. The peer pressure is much more in an IGCSE and A level. All this, is what parents share with us. Today my child is not coming here to go to birthday party to Lonavala. Right? Tuition है, सर एक ही बार साल में birthday तो एक ही आता है ना, let him go. ठीक है. So these things are much more, not that I am advocating against A levels or IGCSE. I am just putting down points for parents and students to understand the other side of the sphere as well. So, and IGCSE has many advantages of its own, like like past papers are available. So content is unlimited. Means you will finish off the 10th standard, but the one paper must have still left out. Itna content hai. In Indian curriculum, you don't have so much content because you don't need so much content. Though like 2-3 small textbooks are there. If you are preparing those textbooks properly, 85% of the things come from the textbook only. Most of the parents.
Even the students, they are very organized, hardworking. HSC, many of them. They
Right.
also take admissions in NMIMS.
Right.
They go abroad.
Yeah.
Best of universities.
Yeah, so it's not like only an international student can travel abroad. Even with your HSC marks and your ISC marks, you can travel abroad. So just to clarify, that myth, if someone has in their mind, I can only travel abroad with A levels, no. Yes, but the push is much better if you want to travel abroad. Like the earlier mentors explained, you are much better, well prepared, you have done your profiling, and you can say you are all, like Cambridge is already an abroad status. You are already there, you are already entered the arena. You need to cross the finish line. So it is better equipped if you are feeling like traveling abroad. A level is a much suited option. But if you plan to be in India and continue the Indian education, you have many more options available. Like Siddharth spoke about sports and all. That's also valid in Indian education also. If you have a sports, you're playing a sport, you have a sport option available. You get your admissions in Indian colleges also under the sports. You have to represent those colleges in the same sport. So those things are also available in Indian education as well. Yes.
I've been to quite a few universities.
Yeah.
In the last 4-5 years, I must have been to now 20-25 universities. I believe Indian universities, especially at this bar, they are even, I went to get Homi Papa University, in National Institute of South May. Those are much better than international universities.
So you are my vice captain. Right. Right. So for the Indian, you have dedicated textbooks, online availabilities also, which is some reference textbooks are available which you can refer to. NCRT is what CBSE uses. And one other thing which I would like to stress upon, IGCSE offers you core and extended options. ITDP offers you, I think, SL and HL. Such options are not available yet in the Indian education. Everything is one level, and that has to be your level. So that's what it is. There is no HL, there is no SL. If you don't like maths, you leave maths, you take a subject which is available in alternative of maths. There is something available like this, but it's not like you take a low level math or you take a high level math. So you need to be taking an informed decision that, what you, like all the mentors spoke about, the purpose you intend, what is your career path, and then you decide what's the right way forward for you in your life. All the education would lead you to a success path, irrespective whether it's a Indian way of learning or a international way of learning. India is a growing place, and all of us will grow with India. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That was very interesting. Next up, we have Mr. Sarvesh Purekar, co-founder of Optimus Academy and a Cambridge expert in IB curriculum, as well as education consultant helping students secure admissions into top universities worldwide.
With years of experience in curriculum development and international education consulting, Mr. Sarvesh is here to guide us through choosing the right subjects and exploring global higher education opportunities.
So, let's welcome him on stage.
Good afternoon, everyone. Firstly, I would like to thank Cambihub for giving me this opportunity to speak about abroad education. When I had asked Pranay about my sequence of speaking, he told me that I am going to be the last speaker, and I was a bit hesitant. The reason being the last speaker, I was not sure whether I'll be able to, have all the attendees present till the last moment. But when Siddharth sir started and he asked one question that how many of you are going to plan your studies abroad after 12th, I was happy to see that most of you are planning to study abroad after 12th. So I was rest assured that I'll be having all of you over here till the last moment of the seminar. Okay, so we'll begin with the topic that why you should choose to study abroad. Before I begin with this discussion that why you should study abroad, I would agree with Sir as he spoke that it's not that we are not having good opportunities here in India. Okay, we have best of opportunities here in India as well. Rather, all of us who spoke here, we all have studied here in India, and we have, I would say, been quite successful, and we are here in front of you. Okay. So first thing comes first, that it's not that we have to study abroad. It's just that we need to understand the objectives of studying abroad. Okay. So we will first talk about what the benefits we have when we plan studying abroad compared to here in India. The first thing comes first is the global perspective that you get. Okay. When you are studying abroad, you are interacting with foreign nationals, you are interacting with foreign faculties, and that gives you a better exposure of studying in abroad universities. It also helps you interact with other nationals, which helps you build network, and that is very much helpful for your career in future. The second is the quality of education. While I am not against the quality of education here in India, for some fields, for some careers, I personally believe that the opportunities, the learning that you get abroad is much more quality compared to that here in India. To give you an example for this, I myself have done computer engineering and I am into teaching. I can tell you that for technology at least, the kind of learning that we have here in India and the learning that we get outside India, it has vast difference. As Sir rightly mentioned, in computer engineering right now also, we are studying about microprocessor 8085, which is not even used anywhere. And when we talk about studying abroad, we get chance to study about the recent technologies or the technologies which are required in the current industrial world. Okay, so that way it gives you an upper hand to learn something which is required in the market. Okay, the next thing that you consider while studying abroad as a benefit is you get chance of learning new languages, you get chance of adapting to the new lifestyles, and the most important aspect is the soft skills or the life skills that you develop when you are studying abroad. Few of them would be being independent. Okay, when you are studying abroad, you are all by yourself, you are taking care of your own self, you are managing your finances by yourself, and these are some of the important skills that everyone must know at this stage of life. You all are, most of you are IGCSE students, and until now, since you have been, in top-notch schools, I would say, you never had chance or rarely would have had chance to be independent and take your own decisions. So, even if we talk about basic skill of commuting in Mumbai, it can be a cumbersome for students like you. Okay, and that is why when you are studying abroad, these kind of life skills, they are very much important. You help yourself to develop with those life skills which help you in long run when you are considering your careers and staying abroad. The next thing is that what is your objective when you are planning to study abroad? See, what happens is when we are talking about studying abroad, it always fancies us. Okay, we always think that इधर पढ़ने से अच्छा हम लोग अब्रॉड पढ़ लेंगे, ओके, which is also as sir mentioned, it's a natural progression from IGCSE or A levels, that after doing IGCSE A levels we feel that since we are already exposed to the international curriculum, it is better if we continue our education abroad. But at times we fail to understand or analyze that what are our objectives of studying abroad, कि हम लोग को जाना क्यों है, okay? Is it only because my seniors or my friends are studying abroad, या हमारे अपने कुछ उसमें reasons है या objectives है, okay? That we must analyze. What we need to understand firstly is the course that we are looking forward for as a career choice. Is it going to give me better opportunities abroad, or it is going to have better opportunities in India? That's the most important question you should ask yourself. Just to give you an example, as I spoke about technology, definitely technology has better prospects abroad. But if I talk about medicines, India is the country which has most of the doctors placed abroad, okay? So that way you need to understand your career choice, and based on your career choice you should decide whether you should be going abroad or not. The second thing that you should consider is your long-term goals, why you want to study abroad. For example, if let's say somebody is planning to just have some learning experience abroad and come back to India, you need to consider whether it is going to give you a good return on investment. If you are spending so much of money and you are paying hefty fees to the foreign universities, coming back, completing your course is not going to give you good returns on investment. So it is always better to consider that if we are planning to study abroad, what are my long-term goals when we are planning to study abroad? If I am investing such huge amount of money, my basic objective would at least be to earn the investment that I have made and then come back here in India, okay? Otherwise, you will still have good opportunities here in India if you are any which way planning to come back in India, okay? The third thing that we need to consider is the courses. Which courses have better prospects in abroad, and which careers have better prospects here in India? Technology, life sciences, arts, design, fashion, tourism. These are the industries which will give you better prospects outside India than here in India. But as we discussed, medicines, architecture, you can say law, these are the fields which will have better careers option here in India. It also have one long-term implication, I would say, that for courses like medicines and law, if you are doing these courses outside India, and maybe 5 years, 10 years down the lane you plan to come back to India and practice, you will again have to appear for some extra Indian examinations. Reason being, you have studied, for example, law. You have studied law of a foreign country, and then you are practicing here in India. You need to again know the laws here in India. Same goes for medicines. So that is why you have to first analyze that the course that you are choosing as your career, will it have better opportunities abroad, or it will have better opportunities here in India? Okay? Now, the next thing that we have to consider for abroad education is the subjects and the career options that we spoke about. We have to again consider the countries that are, you can say, top destinations for abroad studies. If I ask anybody, can someone tell me the top countries that students go to for their studies abroad? Anyone?
Singapore and Malaysia, Canada.
Yes, sir.
It is mainly from US and USA, Western Europe, Australia.
Correct.
Recently, Asian countries have come up. Singapore has come up, Hong Kong has come up. Even though China is coming up, but like Middle East, Dubai is coming up.
Right.
So,
talking about the top study destinations for Indian students are USA, UK, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and Germany. I would say these are the traditional hot destinations for Indian students. And as people rightly pointed out, there are some countries in Asia, Southeast Asia, like Singapore, they also now have better universities and the course curriculum. Okay. Now, we will talk about the topmost institutions, or I would say topmost countries, which have world-class education. Those are USA, UK, Canada, New Zealand, and Australia. What we need to understand is what these countries and the universities require for admitting international students. I'm going to touch base upon some questions previously asked during the other speakers' seminar. Talking about countries like USA and UK, we'll compare these two countries firstly. Talking about USA, it does not only focus on the academic part, it also focuses on the overall personality of the student, which is called as profile building. So USA is not only based on academics, it also based on students' overall personality. So students have to ensure that they are best in academics, and along with that, they also have some additional, I would say, X factor to stand out among the other students. If I compare that with UK, UK is totally different. UK only focuses on the academic part. So UK does not need you to have social services, NGO work, or extra certifications, extracurricular or co-curricular, but it will have, or it will need you to have some additional subjects in your curriculum, based on which they will allow you entry in the universities. Again, when we are talking about these additional courses or additional certifications, we are talking about the top institutions in those countries. Why we have to consider about the top institutions only? See, simple thing is, you have good universities here in India as well. When you are planning to study abroad, you should not be considering any tier 2, tier 3 university over there. If you are planning to invest so much of money abroad, you must consider getting into the top institution abroad. Then only it will make sense. If you are going for a 3rd level, 4th level college in that country, it may not give you good career perspectives in future. So it is better to understand that if I have to go abroad, I have to get into a good university of that country, and then accordingly we will try to find out the requirements of that university and we will plan building our profile accordingly. About US universities, again, we need co-curricular, extracurricular, and academically as well. If I compare two boards, that is A-levels and IBDP, US universities prefer IBDP students more than A-level students. The reason for that is in IBDP, the extracurricular, co-curricular part is a part of their curriculum where students have to go for fieldwork, students have to go for social services as a part of curriculum. It is not by choice, it is part of the syllabus. If we talk about A-levels, in A-levels we only study the major subjects, I would say, academically, but for profile building, you need to go for some parallel activities which are not the part of A-level curriculum. And that is why in US universities, they prefer IBDP students over A-level students. Having said that, it's not that A-level students don't stand chance in US universities. What they require is, along with your A-levels, you should also go for additional examinations which we call as AP examinations, that is advanced placement exams, which are nothing but additional subjects to be taken. For example, you are studying 4 subjects in your A-levels, you may have to take 3 or 4 subjects of AP as per the requirement of the university, and that will help you to build a strong profile for the admissions. Okay? Again, coming back to country like UK, there you need to go for, as I said, as many subjects as possible in your A-levels because you are studying their own curriculum. But there are some universities which require you to go for additional subjects like further mathematics, for example, which can be a deciding criteria whether to admit you in the university or not. Okay? US never gives conditional offer letters. They will directly tell you yes or no, but UK gives you conditional offer letters. Now what does conditional offer letter means? Your applications go to universities in mid of your 12th standard. So by month of January, February, or let's say March, you will receive the offer letters from universities with conditions that in your A-level result, we need, let's say, 3 A stars, or we will need 2 A stars and 1 A, depending on the subject that you are going to choose as your career. For example, one of our students, he is placed in University of Edinburgh for computer science. When he had submitted his application, it was told to him that he had to score 3 A stars compulsorily, that is maths, physics and chemistry, to get admitted into University of Edinburgh. Whereas, at the same time, he had also applied for London School of Economics for the same course, computer science, and LSE had asked him to go for further mathematics as a compulsory subject, and they expected him to score A star in further mathematics. They were okay if he had not scored A star in all 3 subjects that I spoke before, that is physics, chemistry and mathematics. Okay. So depending on country, you have to understand the university requirements and start working accordingly right from your 11th standard. So when we talk about, as I said, abroad studies, it's not going to start after your 12th standard. It's going to start right when you are in your 11th standard. If I compare that with HSC or CBSE, ICSE, there you have to struggle for the entrance exams preparation. And here in A levels or IBDP, when you are preparing to study abroad, you have to struggle for profile building, for your extracurricular, co-curricular activities. So the kind of struggle that you are going to do in HSC, CBSE, ICSE for entrance exams, similar kind of struggle you will be doing here also. Okay? Now, the next part that we have to consider is the other countries like Germany, Australia and New Zealand. Okay? All 3 countries are at par in terms of the quality of education, cost effectiveness. Germany stands little higher. Reason being, Germany has free education for bachelor's and master's courses in many of their universities. What you need to spend is only for the living cost. Okay? The living cost ranges between 7 lakh to 10 lakh per annum, but your education, that is bachelor's and master's education, is completely free. You only have to pay some basic amount for the exam fee, as exam fees. However, talking about Germany, their bachelor's courses are mostly in German. Their master's courses are in both media, that is English as well as German, but their bachelor's courses are mostly in German. And so, there is a requirement of German language. There are 6 levels of German, A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2. Out of these, you have to complete at least 3 levels, A1, A2 and B1, to get visa first. If you don't complete those levels here and you apply to the universities, they may give you the admissions, but they will ask you to go for these courses and certifications in Germany, which then becomes costly. So it is better to complete those courses here. If you are considering Germany as your option, it takes approximately 4 to 5 months to complete one level. So ideally, you should be starting preparing for Germany right now, so that by end of your 11th standard, you will be done with those 3 levels of German. Because say around August or September month of your 12th standard, you will start sending applications to the universities. To end with, I'll give you a rough idea about the costing for all the universities. Germany we already spoke about. It's lesser on the tuition fees. 7 to 10 lakh rupees is your living cost per year in Germany. Talking about countries like USA and UK, they are on the higher side in terms of costing. Depending on the university that you choose, that is private or public, in US, the cost changes. It ranges between 15 lakh per annum to 50 lakh per annum for, I'm saying only tuition fees. In UK, it goes again between 10 lakh to 40 lakh per annum depending on the university that you are choosing, and the living cost in both the countries is averagely 12 lakhs per annum. So even if we consider the average, your per annum cost for both of these countries is going to be somewhere between 25 to 35 lakhs per annum, and I'm talking about the average universities. If we talk about again top ranked institutions, on the higher side, it can go up to 1.5 crore only for the tuition fees. Talking about Australia and New Zealand, again similar costing, around 10 lakh to 30 lakh for tuitions and 10 lakh averagely per annum. Okay, so these are the cost components associated with studying abroad. The next thing and the last thing is the stay back options. As I said, when we are planning to study abroad, many of us would be having this objective to stay abroad after we complete our graduation. If we have that long-term goal of staying abroad or getting residency in that country, we need to consider countries accordingly, that which countries will give us stay back options. In that context, countries like Germany, Australia and New Zealand will be at the top. USA, UK, you might be listening in the news also that these countries are not going to be too flexible to give stay back options to the students after they complete their graduation. So depending on these aspects, that is our career objectives, second, what course we are planning to do and how it is going to help us in long run, third, the cost analysis, that how costly it is and how it is going to give us the return on investment, and the fourth aspect would be your stay back options. If in long run you are planning to stay back in that country, you should be choosing to go abroad or stay here in India. Okay?
We move on to our panel discussion, where our expert speakers will come together to answer your doubts and questions.
My first question would be to Anand sir. How easy or difficult it is for a student to say taken science and IGCSE till 10 to move to commerce, whether practical or not, and also whether it is allowed or not. So subjects.
An MBA, is a very popular master's degree, and what they teach you is that for any question you can give an answer, it depends. Right? So definitely there are a lot of reasons in which a science commerce is a smooth flow, but in many cases if the student is not inclined to doing science and that's the only reason for taking commerce, it may not necessarily be a smooth sail. Right? I don't enjoy chemistry, that's my dad, let's opt out. And what's the next one? Oh, commerce, okay, I don't know what that is, but let's just go ahead with it. I don't want to take up arts because then I'm losing out on my commerce options. So if that's the thought process, then it may be difficult because you're still not having clarity of what you're choosing. But if you have some idea, there are a lot of Harvard, MIT courses available for free on edX.org. Go online, go for a free course, and if you feel that course makes sense for you, then it's a very smooth sailing. There's no difficulty. In fact, like Ritik, I in fact recommend students to take up science with economics, even if you're taking up science. Economics is a very, very popular subject to be able to keep your options open for the business stream as well. Right? So there's no straightforward answer, but yes, of course, depending on your child and the strengths and weaknesses. So depending on their personality traits and their passion, they should be okay in most.
The question emanates basically because if a BBA course were to be selected after 12, then I'm assuming that science, commerce and arts, all streams, the students from all streams can join the BBA course. Then why go in for science if you can still, maybe opt for commerce and have a heads up, having those subjects like say business studies and economics and math getting into BBA. So that was the thought process. That's
so that's perfect. As long as you have the clarity that my end goal is management, then certainly whatever helps me prepare for management, and that's where commerce makes the perfect choice, right? Now, commerce with math or commerce without maths? That's the next choice, right? As much as possible, try to go ahead with maths. Because students, if you were to drop out maths, believe it or not, your entrance exam is not going to make you drop out maths, right? All your entrance exams will still have maths, right? So, in A levels, keep in mind, in A levels, now, how many of us were doing IGCSE? Yeah. Do you know that you share some commonalities with ICSE? No?
Yes.
Yes. In what way? Who said yes?
Like the study exam pattern or something.
With the exam pattern.
Yeah, like friend.
Your friend told you that. Okay.
Yeah, application-based questions.
Application-based questions. Okay,
That's the
fantastic.
commonality.
So, do you know that both are British curriculums? ICSE is also a British curriculum. It was by the British for the British during the British Raj. But it was left for the wealthy Indians when they moved out. So the curriculum or the pattern or the rigor is similar. So when it comes to ICSE as well as IGCSE, they don't have a lower level math. So A levels does not have a lower level math. But in almost all other curriculums, you have a lower level math. So in CBSE, you have something known as applied math. In IBDP, you have math AI. You go to HSC, you have commerce math. Right? So try to retain your math when you're going for commerce as much as possible. Welcome.
Since someone wants to be an engineer, and especially in the space industry.
In the what industry?
Space.
Space industry.
So, can you show in ratio Indian Space Research Organization or NASA and continue education or yes to go to a university?
You have to go to?
University or India ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO,
Yes.
or NASA, NASA.
Yes.
Can you go to NASA?
Yes. So if you want to join an ISRO, you have to go to an IIT. ISRO does not select anyone other than an IIT because the number of job vacancies are very limited.
But NASA, US?
In NASA, so here's the thing about the US. Even if you go to an MIT, unless you have security clearance means you have to be a resident of that country. You cannot be part of NASA and be a resident of India or a citizen of India. And that's where it starts hitting you. So what happens is, most of the times if you are brilliant PhD, they get you a green card and they get you into NASA. So you see a lot of Indians working in NASA, or they'll work as consultants through some other space research organization.
I somehow know that still I want to hear from you. How good is defense as a career? Because now defense is including girls also. They have opened their avenues for girls also. How good is that as a career in India as compared to others?
So if your focus is making money,
Then definitely not.
then definitely not. Right? Then you go for a commercial career. But if your heart is into serving the nation, if your heart is into living a noble life, then definitely defense is one of the fantastic spaces. You can go into defense with or without sciences. If you take up the sciences, you're open for Air Force and Navy. If you don't want to take up sciences, you can go for Army.
Army inducts without sciences?
Army allows without sciences. So the next time your car breaks down, you ask your mechanic, कि आपने क्या पढ़ाई किया है? It does not require science. But when it comes to aircraft, something goes wrong, that person has studied science. And the reason being that anything to do with air or water, you don't get enough time to call a mechanic. You are the mechanic. Right? So you have to study science.
How good are the universities like Atlas or NMIMS, if you benchmark with other universities in India and abroad?
All are good universities. It depends on what the university's DNA is, or what they offer, or their culture versus what your child is expecting. Today, in the world of careers, we talk about career fitness. So that means your child should fit into the university culture. The university should also be fitting into what your child is expecting. So when we talk about profile building, you are trying to build a profile that fits into the university culture. But you should not be thinking that, oh, if I just get into this university, it will be best. You also have to evaluate the university. What will the university do for me? Right? So all are good universities, all are credible universities. But what do you want to achieve out of that university is what you should think about. What's the outcome? When you choose a school, don't you see what's the outcome of this school? Right? What kind of leaders are coming out of this school? Where do they work? Right? So those are the kind of things that you should be asking.
So for BBA course, then for example, these are good universities?
Good university.
Yeah.
So MD answer is it depends. Right? That. Yes, Ritik.
I have taken English as a general language.
Say that louder, please.
I have taken EGP, English General Language, in AS7.
English General Language.
So that is only a AS7 subject. So do I need to give other English exams like IELTS, TOEFL, or is that enough?
So it depends on which country you're going to. A country like Singapore only allows a waiver of IELTS for IBDP students. So an A-level student still has to give the IELTS.
But for an Indian university, that will be enough.
Indian university does not require you to give IELTS. IELTS is a test of English as a foreign language. Right? So while we are in India, as Indian citizens, you don't need to give an English exam, but you need to have English in your 12th standard.
When should I start preparing for IELTS?
Sorry?
When should I start preparing?
If you're going abroad and if you're aiming for IELTS, IELTS takes about 30 days to prepare, and you should generally give it in the 12th standard.
I think many Indian, athletes, what you mentioned, they are also accepting SAT as an entrance exam. If you are doing SAT, and that also is considered as the alternative score to get an entry.
So is it better or worse? Because it adds an additional entrance exam plus the costs and plus the...
See, it's something like, if you plan, as a plan A is to go abroad and you're preparing for SAT anyways, so might as well OE exams, say Indian ka bhi, two birds with the same thing. So that way it's an advantage.
There's no separate quota for that, for SAT.
No, there are some students who feel that the SAT exam is easier than the Indian entrance exam. Because SAT is quite similar, but since Indian students feel that the Indian entrance exams are more oriented with the Indian way of teaching. So if you're an IGCSE student, you might be more inclined with the SAT way of learning. So that's also a new thing which you can take advantage of.
So Atlas and NMIMS both give you that?
Atlas for sure. NMIMS I am still not 100%. They have their own exams. NMAT, yeah. Yeah.
But they do have, so the thing is with NMIMS, you'll find that SAT will be like 5% of the seats with NMIMS.
So
reserved for SATs. So my students who have given SATs this year, their admissions are happening in April. While the NPAT tests continue till the end of May, and then their admissions happen in the month of June. So you have 2 months less anxiety.
The colleges start at the same time?
At the same time.
Okay.
You secure the admission much before.
Yes, much before. Yeah. So today we talk about anxiety, and can you stay away from that anxiety? That works. Just one second. Fantastic question. How do we get internships? Create a family tree. Yeah, it sounds weird. Create a family tree. Figure out what people have studied to be in the profession where they are. As soon as you go to the third level, where you're going to your second cousin uncles and others, you'll realize they are in some industry or they know some friends in some industries who are ready to obligate you and help you shadow them. Try to work with them at least for one day and see if you like them. And then if you can, work for longer. Because as a minor, you cannot go outside and just get an internship. So you will have to leverage your network. But many times we don't know what our uncles have studied or our aunts have studied, what kind of work they do. But we want perhaps to work in a field which may be related to maybe if not them, but their neighbors, their best friend, someone else, and leverage that network.
Can I add to it, sir?
Yes, yes.
There's a body called as Clever Harvey. Just check with them. A lot of schools have tie-up with Clever Harvey, wherein they will come, they will give you a detailed plan for internships, and during your vacation, you can hop with them, on board, do the internship, get a certificate, and you're done.
But you need to pay for that.
Yeah, the school needs to.
Yeah, but the school
indirectly.
Sir, could you just give the name again?
Clever Harvey.
Harvey.
Yeah.
There are many such services. Okay. I'll actually take one.
Now, as I want to do my NEET exam in India, after all my MBBS, I want to do it, I want to practice.
Tell me what's the full form of MBBS?
I'm sorry about that.
No, you should know, right? You're aiming for MBBS.
Bachelor's of Medicine, if I want to practice.
And Bachelor's of Surgery.
Yes.
So it's actually dual bachelors.
I want to do my doctoring abroad. So can I do that? What are the courses? What are the requirements I will be needing to do?
You just need to give the entrance exams for all those. Yes, so then for US it's USMLE, for UK it is PLAB, like that. So as soon as you complete the MBBS, there will be many coaching classes that will offer you those entrance exam coaching. And depending on which one you crack, then you go to that country for your masters. Yeah.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to ask it. Could you confirm that we can just have English language, which is mandatory, for only AS and not give it in A? Because of course that's something I'm not sure if it's true.
Yeah. So typically, you give the AS level exam for English, but you give it in the A2 level. That means for Indian universities, they want 12th standard के mark sheet पे लिखा होना चाहिए English. So you give the English का 11th का exam in the 12th standard. So it comes in the one certificate itself.
Bit of an administrative question. Our school does not offer A and AS levels. And are there enough schools in Mumbai and suburbs who offer AS and
You'll be surprised in Mumbai, you have maximum schools providing AS and A levels. At that point, UK and US study education cost was the same. To a point that people said, no, अब तो US ही जाना है. And most of them converted to IB. And now when the US education cost has gone up so high, people are now converting back to A levels. So thereby you will find most of the parents now inching more towards A levels versus IB. Because the costing wise you are paying 30 to 40% more if you are going to the US.
not only that, are all the schools well equipped with the kind of teachers that require?
Subjective to the schools. All the schools, the intention is positive. It depends on the availability of the teachers and how the management takes it further.
One quick question. How do students apply for scholarships? Because I know few people who go abroad and hardly pay anything because they get scholarships. So how do you apply, how students should apply for scholarships? Are they very frequent? Is it annual? Every year they roll out these scholarships? The foreign universities are more keen on. So and also one more question, are scholarships available in Indian colleges also?
Yeah, so I'll, do you want to answer? Yeah, I'll answer after.
So talking about scholarships, the first thing which I would like to mention is, at least for your bachelor's, you should not be relying on scholarships while planning your studies abroad. Okay, there is a reason for that. See, the thing is that when we talk about countries, we need to understand that from where do they get those funds to be given as scholarships. Okay, this funding comes from corporates or the alumni network. Okay. Now corporates will invest in the university only when they are going to get something in return from the university. That is through the research work. Research work does not happen at the bachelor level, it happens at the master's level. That is why when we are talking about bachelor's courses, we should not be considering scholarship. Of course, we should try our best to get the scholarships, but it's rare possibility to get 100% funding. Talking about USA, they have a policy that is UG self-funded and PG is funded. Meaning in bachelor's, you have to try your own, you have to get UG degree by your own funding, and you will get best of opportunities of scholarships for the PGs. So there are scholarships, but talking like country like USA, UK, it is very difficult to get the scholarships. They are, again for bachelor's I'm saying, they are very less in numbers, and you have to be, I would say, extremely outstanding in terms of profile to get the scholarship there.
So my idea is something different. The moment you apply to your university, they get back to you with the offer. With your fee structure, it includes the scholarship because they want students. This year also, we had a student who went to US with 100% scholarship. That's why I told you, if you're applying for US, because the cost of education is pretty high, check with the scholarship what they're offering, and only if it is 100% you should go for it. It all depends upon, like Sarvesh said, on your profile and how good or what is the additional tag that you carry. That gives you the scholarship.
So what about this, we say there is this dean's list and all.
So Dean's scholarship, ma'am, is given to the topmost candidate who has applied to that university. So almost all the universities abroad will have at least one or a few more Dean's scholarship. And a Dean's scholarship, or they may call it as management scholarship, whatever the name would be, but it's 100% scholarship to the topmost student who has applied. This applies also in India. So you can go in 11th, 12th, for example in APWA, you can get a Dean's scholarship. In JBCM, you can get a Dean's scholarship. But that means you've been just outstanding. You've got a full score, like you've got all A stars. You've been a head boy or a house captain. You've been just outstanding in multiple avenues, and then you have got a scholarship. The one thing to apply for scholarship, there are 2-3 things. First, your school gets a recommendation by the college. So many of the schools, international schools, they get a information from the university saying, we are rolling out this scholarship. Would you like to recommend a student from your school? So that's a school-based referral system for scholarship. The second one, when you're applying to a college, there is already a scholarship form attached, even if you go in Common App. And you have to write a separate essay to prove why you should be considered for that scholarship. And the third one is need-based scholarship. Once you get the offer, now you tell them that, hey, this is my income tax, my parents can't pay this much, can you come midway? Can you pay some amount? I'm ready to pay some amount. Can you provide need-based scholarship?
Indian government is also, Ministry of Education also rolling out few scholarships every now and then to different countries that are seen available on their ministry HRD website. But again, they are all need. Most of them are need-based for not so economically.
So colleges like Ashoka, Ahmedabad University, many other private universities, they are ready to give you need-based scholarship. I've had a student where the parents were going through divorce, and Ashoka University gave this girl 100% scholarship. So how you present it to the university, and if it's a genuine case, in that case they definitely do. But merit base is separate and need base is separate. You wanted to say something?
How much can you earn and pay for yourself maybe in a foreign country? Because some people I've seen, they do part-time jobs maybe, and they successfully clear the cost of living themselves.
The cost of living can be picked up because 20 hours of work you can pick up, at the rate of $15-20, you can pick up on a weekly basis your cost of living. But as a student, don't think about costs. Honestly speaking, at this point, think about excellence. Your extra 1 lakh rupees is not going to make any difference in your parents' lives. I've had many students who earn 10-20 lakh rupees a year, and now they don't value education. And then what happens is they leave the education. Parents, you may have had many people from your friend circle who only did SY BCom, FY BCom, TY भी नहीं पूरा किया, and they're working in business. The students end up doing that. They go abroad, they find some way of making money. Now they feel that they can come back to India and make that money, and they leave their education in between. Don't think about money. Focus on your excellence. If you are excellent, tomorrow money will come to you, no matter what.
Thank you everyone for being a part of Cambihub Career Counselling event. We hope you leave today feeling more informed, inspired, and ready to take on the future.